we were committed to diversity and inclusion, and it lived beyond just words on paper, or beyond just a letter to our employees, or beyond just a webinar, and something that could live forever. I didn't have the idea yet of the rainbow container, but I just knew that we needed to do something. So I gave him a call and I said, look, what do you think we should do? And he's like, well, should we paint 2
First-hand
containers?
stories and experience to the students there. And that was in, I think it was round about 2006 that I did that, and carried on until COVID came out. So it was about 15 years altogether. And I told them stories of my experience. And each year the students would say to me, Tony, you tell us stuff that's just not in books. You ought to write a book. So it took me a while, but I got round to writing a book which encompasses over 40 years of work and business experience, the problems working with people from many different cultures, languages, backgrounds, and working in places where you had to use your own initiative and solve problems. And then what I thought was I can explain this to the students who benefited from this.
I went to basic training. I was an enlisted man. They said, if you add 6 months to your commitment, we will make you an officer. I said, no, I will give you 3 years. And that was all I was going to do. Well, the people that were drafted all got sent to Vietnam. I was an enlisted man, and so I got second worst duty, got sent to New Jersey. So I went off to New Jersey at Fort Monmouth, New Jersey. Okay. And I worked for the facility engineer. He was a colonel. I was a private. No one knew I was in the Army. I had longer hair. I had civilian tags on my car. And I basically ran the fort of Fort Monmouth from a maintenance and repair perspective. Okay. We had 400 maintenance people. I had a large warehouse. I had a large budget. And I learned a lot. So it was totally different than what I wanted to be doing. And at the end of the month, when they paid me $280 for the whole month, I didn't feel very well rewarded. But I actually learned a lot, and my boss let me do consulting, and so it was a great experience.
So when they go through it, and it's all those aha moments that get me excited, because it's really not that hard. It's literally tracking the containers and just putting yourself into the shoes. If I'm sick, am I going to be working a truck that day? No, you're not.
Right.
Great point.
He's such an inspiration. I mean, I'm listening and I'm wowed at really listening to, and he's so touching.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
And in many cases, I left those companies because the money's not worth it. The money's not worth it. So, but logistics has been very good for me. I enjoy what I do, and I'm at the point in my career because I'm able to give back so much to these nonprofits and get people into jobs. And it's a lot of fun.
What is the biggest lesson that you had?
Personally, I would take it as allowing yourself to be adaptable. That's how it is. And looking at the bright side of where things are. Because of that, I was still going back and forth that this is difficult for me. It's a change from California.
In the way that it should be.
But the ideal sales cycle is when the customer is willing to converse with you through this. When you have a what I call partner in crime type relationship with them, open, transparent, mutually beneficial rapport.
To laugh, even to say, I am so scared. Oh my God, I am so scared. It really helps.
Okay. So go ahead, Vanita.
I just wanted to read something from the audience that Peter Ryer said. He says, courage is never the same thing as fearlessness. The courage proceeds in spite of fear. So thank you so much for having the courage, Irina, having the courage to just talk to us from a different place. We feel so helpless to to you Ukrainians,
Or
and we
you can,
stand by.
on the corporate level, you can look more into like your impact on what you're doing as a whole, and what changes can be made that would be environmentally friendly. So it's not difficult, and it's not as technical as it sounds. If I can figure it out, anybody can.
An exploration about what's going on, but it's hard, right? I mean, most companies don't work really quickly in terms of adopting new technology. It can be, especially a larger corporation, it can be a years-long process to change something out. And a lot of times they've invested in something that works fairly well, and they're not ready to rip that out and start all over again. So
One
I think,
person,
right?
they want to make the most of their time and get as many contacts as well. So getting their LinkedIn or contacting them on LinkedIn prior to the event and saying, hey, I'm going to such and such a place too. I'm really excited to meet you in person, and like maybe comment on some of the stuff you see on their posts or what they've done in real life, like their body of work, what have you. And then ask those good questions. And remember, like the networking doesn't stop after the event. The networking continues to every single day after the event. And so put these people on your contact list and continuously go through that list.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And we are hearing this from a LinkedIn star. Okay, understand that, but I mean, it's only me, right?
What is
No,
it that you
it's not.
what
It's
is
not.
it
It's the market.
that you don't understand? Is that the billing for the premium?
Yeah, that is exactly correct. Because I mean, again, if I issue an invoice that is not accurate, I'm gonna be in a huge trouble in my company, right? So
yeah, they won't like you. The customer won't like you if that happens. The customer won't like you if that happens.
Yeah, they're gonna fire me, right?
But the
and if
ocean
it's something that
carriers,
is too high, then they're gonna sue me.
yeah, but so the ocean carriers are kind of like,
and as I think it was Eric had touched on, like you're going to be able to see through when someone doesn't know what they're talking about, right? But even still, like I still come across posts of people, where they'll say like this is the surefire way to do this, or this is the exact
that are
way to do
using
that.
manual carts and paper, they might see a good bump by automating and getting away from paper and inserting RF guns. RF guns are a form of automation. Even paper is a form of automation outside of just using mental recall. Right. And then you kind of inch up, and after you go from RF picking, you get into this voice picking zone, right, where you can get automated.
Looking at, okay, when it was ordered, when it was picked, how it was packed, when it is going to be delivered, providing that end-to-end transparency. Anything exceptions happen, how is it being recovered, right? And how is the others mutually learning as well? The manufacturer looking at it on real time. What is happening to the product? The carrier looking at it real time. So all entities looking at it real time. So what we are trying to solve this is the fragmented data, the inefficient processes that is happening, and people are calling, phone, and coordinating, and how we make it more dynamic and interconnected is what we are trying to solve, right? So what we provide from an OSA commerce perspective is we provide a one unified commerce tower, which enables whether the brand, the retailer, the service provider, or the carrier, manufacturer, everybody in the ecosystem looking at a single point of data in real-time perspective. Encapsulate the connectivity problem. We provide demand channels to connect to all the demand channels in a simple, easy way with pre-built integrations, so make that journey simple. To provide ability to connect with all the entities, solving the interoperability problem, whether it's a demand channel, carrier, and fulfillment sources or manufacturing centers. Ability to collaborate among all the players. So if an order comes in, everybody looks at the order in real time. Everybody knows when the order was picked, what needs to be picked. If somebody has required for customization, show the pack station what is need to be customized. All the dynamically enable that execution. Connect to the transportation last mile to find the optimized way to ship the product, deliver the product, and also if there are returns, collaborate also on that one, right? How soon you can get the product, get the disposition, and done, and then co-thrive. So centralized data view, decentralized execution by all the players for an effective solutions for all our customers, all their customers.
Comprises of, you know, an international agent and then a US agent, but you've got that process. It comes overseas on a carrier, on a shipping line. It lands here. It is handled by a customs broker, handed over to a drayage broker or operator who brings it into a warehouse. So there was a lot of people in the stack in COVID, even more than ever, because people that were formerly mortgage brokers or doing something else were rushing into the space because of the demand, the consumption demand across the world. So we came in and really tried to own, as we've always done for decades, own each layer of the supply chain. That was a big value proposition for us. An example of how we solved problems were trucking. If you remember, there was a trucking pandemic of its own, labor shortage and port congestion. We set up our distribution hubs at the ports. And Jose, you were a big help there because we operate inside of your facilities that are work near the ports. And rather than, you know, servicing a customer base in the middle of the country, we tried to service the shipping problems by being in the exterior or the perimeter of the country. So these were ways that we were able to get containers out quicker. There were ways we were able to bring down.
Can you help me out here? And oftentimes I see people throwing out words and using terms without really understanding what they're actually meaning, what is actually standing behind them. So I think we are both on the same mission here in terms of educating people and shine a light on knowledge that they need, that they require, that they also require not only on the daily business, but also in terms of how to reshape the future with everything being shaking up these days so fast, literally overnight. I think that's really a vital point. So yeah.
Well, I think that like you said, right? It's one of the things that really goes into play here is you know, I'm so fortunate, right? I created my niche some 35 plus years ago. You know, I have these,
and then piece it all together with how to proceed forward. And I will say that, you know, you may come up with a solution that ends up not panning out. And that, I mean, that happens, but that doesn't say that the solution that you came up with or how you improved your process is failing. It just might indicate that you need to make small changes. And that's what the controlling or measuring aspect after the fact is for.
In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song, let me swing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words,